Hi, and welcome back to Be Feed Me. Today, we are going to have a peanut-heavy recipe day. A, because everyone in my life can have peanuts, and I'm obsessed with them. And B, because there was a request for more kid-friendly meals, and I just think peanuts gives all of the great fats and things that you need immediately. You could also alternate with different nut butters, and there's even fun oat butters on the market as well today that you could help replace things with that we'll be making. But to get started, we're going to have some savory items, and they have to get baking in the oven, so I thought we could start with that first and then move into. Before I do anything else, I'm going to talk about this lovely little onion because it's adorable. But anyone who has chopped onions in the kitchen knows that this can make you cry because of the gases that it releases while you're chopping it. Something you can do to help alleviate that process for you, not cry, because I've never, have anyone heard about like sticking your tongue out while you're chopping an onion? Something about that's supposed to help. That has not worked for me. So instead, we're just going to stick the onion in the refrigerator for 10 minutes while we're doing other things, because this will help slow the release of gases while we're chopping and less chances for us to cry. Cheers. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is make chicken nuggets. Of course, you can make chicken nuggets with kids. I just thought that was really easy and you get to use your hands to make it more accessible and less germs everywhere. I have it prepped out and I would suggest for you to do that too. We just have our tray over here, which we will bring closer to make our lives easier. I just went to ShopRite to get the ground chicken. In here I have a little bit of mozzarella and a little bit of Parmesan cheese to help flavor our nuggets. I'm also going to grab a little bit of cornstarch. It's still gluten-free and it's going to help keep everything together. You have the option to add an egg. I'm just going to because I have that option right now. And again, it'll help bind everything together. You're already wearing gloves while you're mixing everything, so you don't have to worry about salmonella and such. I just feel like anytime you get to use your hands in the kitchen, it's a win. Make my life easiest, I'm going to put the cornstarch in first. I'm just going to do a little less than a tablespoon, so I don't want a ton of it, and I just want it to help bind everything. And I'm putting it right on top of the cheese because the cheese already has a little bit of starches on there, because while they shred it in the store, I forget what the coating is, it's not going to kill you. I feel this is a place for chunky cheese, or crunchy cheese is in these nuggets. So I'm just going to add that extra dusting now. We're also going to go for some paprika. So I love it. We'll use that again later. And this Green Goddess blend from Trader Joe's, because it has just about everything that I'd want to add in here. Onion, salt, pepper, garlic, lemon, a little bit of green onion, spinach powder. I just think it's delightful. Add a bunch. Sorry. And that's cute. Plastic didn't even rip. That's okay. Didn't break the egg yet or anything because I'll be using my hands, and then you can see it start from one end and become something incorporated at the end. If you wanted to make these more like a fast food style nugget, you could add a little bit of mustard, because that's the tang that you're tasting when you go to McDonald's or Wendy's or, Burger King, anybody else. And it helps neutralize your meats. You can also add breadcrumbs, but this way I didn't feel it was needed because of the cornstarch. I'm going to lose one of my gloves because I want to keep it clean so I can use the spoon. And use my other hand that still has a glove to help form. I would suggest, because I have done this with some cute little nuggets, to ask them to keep their gloves on while you are scooping. Because all of a sudden we're grabbing everything. And if you have your gloves on, it gives you that moment where you can engage with a project and know that, okay, so it's time to just do this. Is that out of the shot? Sorry, bro. Sorry about that. I thought that was still there. I was wrong. I'm trying to keep them about the same size. You don't need to go crazy with it, but it also will give you the confidence to feel like you can make it the same size without trying to measure things all the time. I really just want you to feel more confident in the kitchen and just throw it together and go. Everything's gonna be fine. Man, could be worse. Could always be worse. My grandfather would definitely always tell you it could always be worse, and that's how you know he was Eastern European. He was always just, the glasses, yeah. My Bulgarian friends, thumbs up, yep, half, it's not half full, it is half empty. Why would you even bother? There's not enough water for everybody. We are going to die. So don't panic, we're gonna go as far as we can. Anyhow, and we're gonna keep making these. That one was a little bigger, so I've just decided to make a little smaller one. And you can be like kind of rough with them. Throw together. I know I should have put another recipe in first, but that's okay. Because we're here now, and since you're working with raw chicken, don't do anything else until the raw chicken is done. It is a moment where you can just be present and with it, and then also we're teaching that to our children at the same time. Because patience is so difficult, to say the very least. Depending on how big the nuggets are, you can get up to 20 is the most I've ever done. And they were like cute bite-sized pieces. But today I just wanted to go for about like 15 to 12, like really hearty. Because this is also one of my mom's favorite meals that I'll make for her and myself. It is her birthday this week. So we obviously are going to make mom all her favorite things. Chicken nugget salad is definitely up there. We got one more. Okay. Taste tester guy, if we're all going to be honest with each other. So while we still have it, immediately just put this in the dishwasher. We don't have to think about it anymore. Oops. You'll end up baking the chicken nuggets for about 30 to 45 minutes. I have the oven at 425 because when you open your oven, you're losing heat. So I always start my temperatures a little higher than I would normally have them. We're going to get started on the next recipe that's also going to join it. And this has become a new favorite bedtime snack. So I have a sweet potato. You're just going to like stab it a little bit because we want to encourage those juices to come out. And this has become one of my favorite desserts, and it is absolutely kid and mother approved. And those are always the fun things that I, the cool auntie, should be bringing into every situation. That'll be in there for about 45 minutes. Okay. Next. Just because I want my onion to be in the refrigerator for a little bit longer, next bit for our chickpea salad that we're going to be making on this delicious focaccia. Wow. I am going to start with the ginger and the garlic, and it's just a rough chop. Fun fact about garlic, when you see it in the store, you can just break off what you need and walk away. So even if you just wanted to take this little nugget out of the grocery store, you're in a pinch, this is allowed. Really, really, we're playing the game of capitalism. Break it and go. There's a few places in this world we get to do that. Enjoy. Ooh, wrong one. Just because I don't think I've talked about knives just yet on here, when you sharpen your knife at home, we're not exactly sharpening our knife with this. We are actually making the blade more straight. So you need a sharpening stone, or there's lots of fun things that you can send your knives out to. They will professionally sharpen them for you and send back. It has been one of my favorite Christmas presents that people have given me recently. When we sharpen the knife, we want to hold it at a 45-degree angle. You have the most strength with anything when we pull towards ourselves. So it's not like a crazy, no. Just a few times. I did it. Just so the blade feels straight up. That's all you're looking for. You can't make it super sharp with this. I have a sharpening stone. We can have another day where we can talk about taking care of your knives. You got it. But today, just like a quick, and it's nice to do that every time you go. This is a lot of ginger, so I'm not going to use this much. I'm going to use this much. Another thing I'll do with my aromatics sometimes, just to guarantee that I'll have it in the future, is I'm going to take this little bit and just stick it in my freezer. I have a bag, because today we're not doing spicy things. But normally I like adding spicy things to everything. So I've just become into a habit of keeping my habanero peppers in the freezer. I either just throw it into something when I want it, or I micro zest it on top of things. Your eggs, your pizza, different types of dips and such. Hummus. That's what I was thinking of. You could just micro zest right on top of your hummus. So if you wanted to have something a little more hot and say like your company does not, you can make it work for everybody. Just so I have this on hand. Just like a rough chop. You can eat the skin. Nothing's bad. And we're going to saute it into the pan, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I would have done the onions first, but I don't want to cry on camera. Like, I'll cry by myself. That's fine. It's a whole therapeutic process, and I'm so grateful for that. However, that's like a very vulnerable time. I'm not there yet with the internet. Maybe someday. Probably not. That's okay. You can have other people's tears. I also always suggest getting kids to start chopping things. It's great, like hand-eye coordination. Please be very supervised, a hands-hand over thing. Maybe one of these days, one of like my friends, nieces, and nephews, cute kids I have in my life, can come and we can like do this together. We talk about safety with kids in the kitchen, because I know that sometimes the table's too high for them, and that's part of the issue. Solid things to think about with the little ones. And kitchens are hot, sharp, slick, sharp, hot, dangerous places. We have to pay attention. Now I'm making myself anxious because it's slipping. Onto the onion. Real fast. I have my stovetop at a medium heat. My stovetop here, if I leave it on for a longer period of time, it gets hotter. Please just end up learning your stove very well. This electric stove and I have now been together for a couple of years, and I know how to pump her up. Some stoves are ready to rock and roll. I dream of having a gas stove again while I can, because that's just an immediate flame, you know, and that's just lovely. But I'm not there yet. Ugh. A cute little onion that won't make me cry now. And if you do, it's okay. It's like free therapy. I used to work at this yoga place, and one of my favorite mentors would always tell me that one tear was worth an hour of meditation. So just remember that you're getting really in tune with yourself while you're crying. So take it as a time to think of communication between you and whatever the hell is going on with you, because it's hard in here. Anyhow. Okay, so my leftover onion, and I know I always use a little bit, but that's because I have my stock bag in the fridge. So we're going to have this onion work for us later. And we're going to chop that guy up. Alright. And again, this just has to be like a quick little chop. And I'm going to keep this recipe vegetarian because we are going to be using the Greek yogurt with it. But you could easily make this vegan by not adding the Greek yogurt and using something else. You could also use different types of cream cheeses or even different types of mayonnaise to help make this creamy later. But I have to use this Greek yogurt, so that's how this is going to go in my kitchen. And it's still just as delicious. There's going to be so many fun spices in there. And the onion, and the garlic, and the ginger are always a party. Just rough chop. If you have skins in there or anything, it's edible. You You can eat that. It's fine, because I see a couple little skins. If we freak out about things, people around us will freak out about things. So if you can be calm, cool, and collected when these things are happening and you see something wrong, that is how you're teaching people around you to respond. Now that's nice and hot. Got my oil. So I am now going to add the onions right into the pot. Actually, I think I'm done with this, which is nice. It's nice when you can like take things away, you know what I mean? Be like, oh, this is done now. You go over there. So we're gonna give the onions a hot second in the pan, and we're not gonna add anything yet. I don't like to start adding spices until the big moment, which after the aromatics come in, because to me these are a spice, and I like to try to get that fawn going on your onion. We're also going to be adding MSG to this recipe because I've been thinking about this a lot, especially as it's become so popular with a really cutie with a cucumber. Anthony Bourdain used to say very strongly that hating on MSG was just racist, and I really now feel as an adult, as we keep looking at this, it's true. It makes a lot of things better, and when I use MSG, I use less salt in my recipes, so there's ultimately less sodium in this. So that's just my little bit on that. So MSG, a little bit of salt, pepper, curry powder, paprika, and this tandoori spice. I don't have any other masala spices on me. I thought I had other things. I was out and I was like in a rush today, so this is the spices we're going to use. You could always use whatever else you'd like to pump this up, but I was also told this was kid friendly, and the other things I have, like my own salts that I make, are spicier because cayenne is lovely. I think so. And we'll be using cilantro too. Chickpeas, Greek yogurt, tomato paste. Oh, now we just have to wait for the onions for a second. Ooh, we lost one. This is a fun thing that, like, I don't know when you can start showing kids to do that, actually, so that's a good point, but when you show them how they can level up in the kitchen, they'll work on the littler things a little harder, and they'll know how to, you know, go from swap to mate. That's one of my favorite lines of life. Okay, so we're going to drain the chickpeas. I'm not going to rinse them. We don't need to. I am going to save my chickpea liquid because I'm going to be using it for something else. I wish that I planned something today to do with it, but I didn't. I have an idea for later this week. It's not going to go bad. Your chickpea liquid, alfalfa, right? Is that how do I say it? I don't remember. Words always escape me. But this liquid is essentially gold. Don't throw it out. You can use it as an egg replacement. If you whip it up, it could be like a meringue. But yes, this liquid is gold. Don't throw it out. Trust me, Google it. Look into things you can do with your chickpea liquid. You will be surprised. Happily surprised. Now we're going to take our aromatics and add it right into our pan. This goes right in here. Make my life easiest. As you clean as you go, it's just a little better, you know? Okay. Salt. Whatever salt you'd like to use. I'm back on a kick currently of kosher, coarse ground salt. David's. Oh, she's wonderful. There's moments where I like the pink salt more. It's just whatever. You know what I mean? Just go with it. We're so blessed to have so many options. Why not utilize? Why demonize when we can just make it better? Pepper. I believe I got both of these spice blends, at Wegmans. But you can get them at Wegmans, probably Whole Foods, and ShopRite, whoever carries the Frontier Co-op brands. I've seen them in a plethora of places, but where I live, I go to the Woodbridge Wegmans, and they always have these. So it's a tandoori masala and a curry powder, and I want both of these. I like this curry powder because it also has a little bit of fenugreek, and it has lemon in it, and I just feel like that's such a nice little add-on in a spice blend. Give a little more that, citric acid in this. There's a bunch of people that say just do this until you want to stop, so that's how I would say this. Depending on how much your kids like spices. I like spices, so I'm going to add a lot. I did probably about a solid tablespoon of the curry, 2 tablespoons of the tandoori. Because I'm also not adding any of the other spices I would have added. And paprika. So I like sweet paprika. A little more oil because that will also add moisture into this. The onion, the garlic, and the ginger are all also helping like bloom our spices in this moment. So I like to give them a moment before we're going to add in the tomato paste and the chickpeas, because the chickpeas are always just like ready to go. They're going to soak up everything around them. But the spices, I want them to get like a little bit toasted. I want them to like cling on to these other vegetables right now so they can get all those other moistures together. Like bring all the oils in harmony, you know what I mean? Still keeping it on like a medium-low heat as my oven gets hot, or stovetop gets hot after a long period of time. I'll even turn it down a little bit because I don't want to burn anything. Slow and low is always the way to go. Okay, now we're going to add our chickpeas. If you wanted, you could add some of the chickpea liquid here too. I just don't. I've heard a lot of debates whether or not the skins on canned chickpeas will make you sick or like give you gas. I personally have not had a problem with it or anything, so I am not a good person to ask, but definitely be mindful of like when you're eating things. And that's also something we're teaching people around us. Like, how does this react while we eat it? You know what I mean? I personally like the skins on the canned chickpeas because like after I bake them, I feel it is the crispiest bit. So I want to keep that. The chickpeas are now getting like coated with everything. The spices are here immediately. No tears because we kept that onion in the fridge for a bit. You know, sometimes things need a little bit of prep before they're ready. You know what I mean? We're gonna give that another minute. Tomato paste. I lost the cap to this and I'm not going to cry about it. It's almost empty. We're just going to put it in the fridge. It's going to be okay. After everything's cooked for about 10 minutes, I'm going to cut the heat and add our Greek yogurt. But you do want to cook the tomato paste a bit with everything else so it comes together. It's going to look a little chunky in the beginning. Just trust the process. I promise I'm not lying to you or leading you astray or any kind of way. Once everything's like fairly coated, like one more minute. Huzzah! Downtown. Ooh, while we're waiting for that too, we're going to take our focaccia. And we want to show people to not wing it with a knife in the kitchen. Because I do that a little more frequently than I'd like to admit. Could be right down the center. There we go. Boom. Huzzah. Cut the heat. And the Greek yogurt just goes right in. Take it off the heat completely. Burnt yogurt isn't always a good time. Like, while it's still hot too, everything will just keep coming together and like mash really, really well. I love the silicone plate because also it like absorbs heat, so I won't burn things. That's good. It's an excellent way to finish the rest of your Greek yogurt. when the bread's ready, we will finish the sandwiches and we can take a quick break there. Okay, so I just have a salad blend and we're going to finish out our Sannies. And I toast up the focaccia. So put on some salad. Put it on there. As I lose everything at the same time too, because this was an appropriate way to make this. Absolutely, just get messy in the kitchen. You can't fail. And just to make this clear again, you do not have to use just Greek yogurt to make this. You can use mayonnaise. You can use cottage cheese. You can use, veganese. Just please don't use vanilla flavored anything. Is a little request from me to you, because you will not enjoy it as much. Our chickpea Sannies! Ta-da!